Morning, welcome to the live session. We are on the third consequent topic on the understanding the graha. So earlier last week, we studied about first we studied about Mercury. Mercury is about mind, understanding and thinking process. And then comes Venus. Last week we understood the Venus. Now Venus is about your desires, your attachment. And today we are going to talk about Sun, uh, Surya Graha. So when we see, what Surya represents, Surya represents our ego. So now when you don't have stability, when you don't have, you think people don't respect you, or there is no stability in your house, in your relationship, in your life, that is where we say that my Surya is not strong. But ask yourself, can any graha or any remedy actually give you what you want? Can any ritual or any stones or anything, can they bring you the desired result? Can people respect you only just by wearing rings or doing something? No. That is where where you lack confidence, and that is where you don't get respected. So you know uh, any ritual or anything is only affected because we are understanding the process behind it, the meaning behind it. So what we are not doing is actually we are believing too much in a shortcut, and we are not trying to work on self. So what is Surya? Surya is representing your ego. Ego means stability. Again, I'll tell you, ego means stability, and your self-respect and your vulnerabilities to speak to the world. So when we don't lack, when we lack, the Surya is not, the planet is not a problem. This is the third session, and I'm again telling you, planets are only revolving around the sun. So the planets are revolving, that means they are following a pattern. And when a thought pattern is happening in the same way, the everything is revolving around the sun. The sun is the ego, that means your own stability, and every planet is moving around that. So that means our desires are also around the ego, our every mental activities around that ego, that sustenance of the self. So every planet is only teaching you to upgrade yourself, to understand yourself. So that is why it is very very important to understand that Surya is only have to, you have to develop that confidence within yourself, and that comes only when we stop asking for validations, when the validation or the dependency on the outside world stops. So run for the remedies is okay, you do the remedies, but is that building you the confidence? It is only giving you a sustenance factor. Yes, this is possible, but the possibility again happens like when we keep on sustaining with that confidence of happening things in a way. When we are asking again and again for a validation, is it sustenance? No. When that means that is codependency. Every time I need to ask somebody whether I am correct or I am not, that means I am not taking the responsibility of the self. So when there is confidence in you, you will be vulnerable. In case I am maybe I am wrong, you can always say. There is no performance pressure. You feel that yes, I can be wrong, so you have a possibility of improving. So that is where your confidence starts developing. Rather than we need to understand the rituals and the remedies also very well. We have taken shortcuts. We should not take shortcuts. We should understand the self. So the entire graha is doing what? The graha is only teaching you about your own self. It is the identity, the self of the strength, your inner strength. Ego is teaching you your inner strength. So believe in yourself, believe in your confidence, believe in what you are doing. And that is where your Surya chakra, your Surya graha starts rebuilding you. So instead of let us take a live example. If you say that somebody ignores you and you don't feel like you want to speak up, but you are not able to speak up, or every time you're looking, मैंने ठीक किया नहीं किया, did I do this right or wrong? So that means we are not taking the responsibility of the self, because there is fear in us, about the consequence. Then we ask yourself, what is maximum going to happen? What maximum is going to happen? What is it which puts me to so much of scare that I lose my confidence and I'm not able to take the responsibility? It's okay, we all fall, we all have patterns, we all go into the same loops again and again. But that is where you can actually have the self mastery only when you understand, I'm again and again depending on somebody else's validation. So in a relationship, what happens is, when your partner appreciates you, you are happy. When they say something, you are sad. So that means we have become puppets. So the Surya, the ego, is telling you, don't become a puppet of people, become a master of the self. Take the responsibility. Yes, I can do it. I can do. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my decisions are not right, but that is fine. It's okay. We all, come up and down. It's okay. So in that moment, don't think that I have done such a big blunder. It's okay. You have done. You have acceptance, and now you can create another. So if we look at Einstein's life, so many times he had done the experiments. If he always thought, I am wiser this time. I am wiser this time. So that is the way your confidence is building. So do not depend on the validation of the people and see how you shine. So Krishna has a very Shri Krishna says, always remain in equanimity, whether there is happiness or there is sadness, because it is always going to be a mood swing. So when you became, when we stay in equanimity, the too much of happiness or too much of sadness does not bring that emotional up downs. It makes us stay calm, that I am balanced in every situation. And that is where your confidence starts building, because the confidence, in an ego, we need to perform, we need to show, I am such a great person. But in confidence, you naturally start feeling the aura of the person naturally starts attracting people, and that is where your confidence is developing. So remember, the planet is never an issue. The only thing is how well we learn to respect the self, how much we trust ourselves, how much we develop the skill in ourselves. Krishna says, wherever you are born, you can rise from the same place. So if I say that there is a cobbler near your house, when we have to mend the shoes, we always run to the cobbler is not coming to our house, you आपके घर में shoes टूटा है, आपके घर में shoes टूटा है. No, he is not asking us. We need to go to him. So that means, if the cobbler near you has actually started rising the skill that, no, he does a very good job, I don't want anybody else, even people from the other places are also coming to the cobbler. So do you think he needs to be somebody else to rise? No, that means he is good enough in his own self, and that is what makes us rise. So understand, wherever you are, there is where your growth is. That is where you start understanding the self and understanding. So sit and take a pause. Your son is not weak. Just take a pause and do not believe in too many people's opinions. Focus on the self and ask yourself, where am I going wrong? Am I depending too much on my other person? Am I depending? Because it's very natural, in a relationship, we always feel, that am I making the other person happy? Am I making, that is fine. But we do not need to perform something to be in a relationship, because that suffers, and we also don't leave the relationship for that. So everything goes around upon the codependency. So Surya Graha is teaching you to be more independent, to be more vulnerable, to accept the self more clearly, rather than depending on people's opinions and validating the self. If it happens well, it's okay. If it doesn't happen well, I am wiser now, I can take another route. So take your approach in a very flexible way, and the Surya is definitely going to shine. Your ego is there, we are here to sustain. We have a thought, मेरा क्या होगा. The first thing somebody leaves, it says, what will happen to me. So that abandonment issue is telling you, you are safe. Very beautifully, I'll explain you one more thing. Like when a lady is pregnant and she's carrying a child in the womb, you see where a pregnant lady always gets a seat, always she's always taken care of. So similarly, mother earth is always taking care of us. We are never deprived of anything until unless we start thinking. So remember, our own thought process is actually building our life. The nature has already provided us with everything, only we lack in the confirmation of the self. So stop asking validations from the people and learn to believe in yourself. Work on your skill. Become that person where people run after you to have what you are about to offer. So that is where you will get the respect also. You will be heard also. You will be praised also. So what you are actually looking for is just on the other side. That stop asking for validations. Detach from people when they are trying to put you down, and build confidence in yourself, because no remedy will do it. Remedies are only giving you a direction of yes, there is a possibility. So when you do a remedy, you leave everything, your even mindset also, कि अब मैंने ये कर लिया, ये हो जाएगा. No, you have to hold that confidence in yourself that what I've asked for, I will receive, and slowly we start progressing in that direction. So again, I'm telling you, the graha is not the issue. The whole scripture has been written around the self-realization, and the self needs to realize that what am I thinking in rotation again and again. Some or the other planet is always going to be like this. We say ye kharab hai, wo kharab hai. The planet is not there. The planet is awakening you to your own potential. So stop looking for validations and start living your life. Build your skill, develop yourself wherever you are, and shine like a sun. So today is Sunday also, and thank you so much for joining here. And if you have any questions, you can ask me anything which is bothering you. And in the next class, the next session we'll be taking moon, which is related to our emotions. So we'll go more dive into the deep about the emotions, what are helping us and what are not helping us. So I'll teach you what emotions and how to look into that awareness of emotions. So I hope this session helps you in understanding yourself better. Ask better questions with yourself. What am I doing? Why am I always dependent on somebody else's opinion? You might trust the other person so much that you are dependent, but taking the responsibility of the self is always mastering yourself. So have a great Sunday. If you feel that the session will help somebody who has low self-confidence, share the session, and as you expand, everything else expands with you. Thank you so much for joining. It was a lovely Sunday. Have a wonderful weekend, and see you next week with the next session of On Moon.